We're continuing with the Mishnah Yomi for 25 Sivan, Erev Shabbos. We just started the third parak yesterday of Trumot with the bitter cucumbers and the vinegar. And yesterday we ended on a case where he separated Trumot from wine on a certain barrel of wine, but then when they pop that barrel open, there's vinegar inside. So we're not sure at the moment he took the Trumot, was that wine still wine or had it turned to vinegar? And the nafkamina here is, if it was wine, the truma is valid. And if it was vinegar already, the truma was not a truma at all, because you cannot separate from vinegar to exempt wine. So it was a bit of a sticky situation. So the Mishnah ruled you had to separate a second truma to give to the Kohen out of the safek. Now here the second Mishnah, so in the third paragraph of the second Mishnah, nafla achat mehem l'tocha hullin. If one of these trumot that he separated from the wine that had turned to vinegar, if one of them falls into another barrel of wine, which is hullin wine, which is regular drinking wine for non-kohanim, it doesn't make it dimua. Again, dimua is the mixture of hullin and truma. If truma falls into hullin and there is not 100 times the truma in the hullin, then it makes the whole thing dimua. And the only solution there, since there's truma mixed with hullin, is to give it to a Kohen, but the Kohen pays for the hullin part and gets the truma part for free. But a non-Kohen cannot partake in that. And now if the second truma, remember there's two trumas here. Now one of them is the real truma, and one of them is a replacement truma, because the first one might have been from vinegar. If the second one falls into a different barrel of hullin wine, it also doesn't make it dimua, which is strange because the truma is here somewhere. Will the real truma please stand up? Well, we don't know which one's the real truma, so also the safek, we can't say either of them are dimua, are hullin mixed with truma, because we don't know where the real truma is, because we don't know when the wine in the original barrel that he was tithing became vinegar. Naflu shtehen lemakom echad. But what if both of these trumot, both of these safek truma, fall into one barrel? Oh, midamot kekatona shebeshtehen. So it does make dimua. It does make a mixture of truma and hullin, but only according to the smaller amount of the two of them. What's going on is he took truma originally, and that it was a safek if it worked. So he took truma again on the same barrel of wine. So the second truma is just a little bit smaller than the first truma because he had already taken one shear of truma. So you could have a case where there's two little barrels, they're like little jugs or something. Two jugs of wine are falling in, but they only mix to make a dimua according to the smaller jug. The partner says something really interesting. He says whenever things are batel, when there is more than 100 times the truma in the hullin, I mean, it sounds like the Kohen's going to lose out. So the rabbis say, it is batel, but you pull out one measure of hullin equivalent to the truma and give it to the Kohen so he doesn't lose out. The partner here says, amazingly, there is 100 parts hullin against the smaller jug of safek truma. It doesn't make meduma, so it is batel. But you take out the size of both of these safek trumot. So the Kohen does get his fair share. He actually gets the equivalent hullin of both of the trumot you're supposed to give him, even though the real truma, wherever it was batel. We just don't know where it was. You see, our ancestors were working on shilas of quantum mechanics. Where's the electron? Where's the proton? What's going on? Where's this stuff? And it's really statistically, well, it's somewhere. The truma is somewhere. The electron's somewhere. We were working on quantum mechanics before it was cool to work on quantum mechanics. So Baruch Hashem that it's right here in the Mishnah. Good. Mishnah Gimel, Hashutofin, partners. Now, of course, you can only turim your own produce, not someone else's produce. We learned that in the first Mishnah. But what about partners? They both own it. So Shutafin Shatarmuzeh Acharze, they both tithed it. So Reuven and Shimon co-own this pile of wheat, or the wheat from this field, and Reuven tithed it, and then Shimon didn't know about that, and he wouldn't tithe it too. So Rebbe Akiva Omer, Trumat Shnehem Truma, both of them are Truma. Bartner explains, Rebbe Akiva means they both took Truma for their share. So if they each own half of the produce, they've each done truma on half of it. Chachamim omrim, but the other sages say, truma tarisha and truma. The first man, Ruvain, the first tither, his tithe is real, true, bona fide, deoraita truma. Rabbi Yossi Omer im tram rishon kashir. Rabbi Yossi says that's when he took the proper amount. Now we do remember that deoraita afilu chita ahad poteret takri. Even one kernel of grain will be a truma, but it's not nice. It's not kedei netina. It's not really a gift to the Kohen. So Chazal said you should give 2%. So if he gave the 2%, then Rabbi Yossi rules ein truma tasheni truma. Then the second one, the first one already did the job. He did the 2%. So the second one's not really doing anything. His truma is not a real truma. Im lo toam rishon kashir. If he didn't take enough, truma tasheni truma. Then the second guy took enough. So then his truma, the second truma, is valid. Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom.